Welcome, Vault Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and you should be joining me just in time for the Bunker Hill Synchronized Sleeping Society to come on and put on their act. Cracks me up every time I see something like this. Anyways, this is episode 20 of my Fallout 4 No Loot Challenge run. In short, the rules are that I am not allowed to use the A button to take anything out of the environment or out of a container and put it into my inventory, with one notable exception, and that is crops in my own settlements. If you want to see more of this series, you're probably going to have to subscribe to my channel. If you like the series, it'd help me out a lot if you would leave a like on the like button, and if you didn't like, please tell me why in a comment, because constructive criticism is the best way that I know to improve as a YouTuber. And if you leave a dislike without telling me why, I don't know what it is that I should be working on. Thanks very much. So at the end of last episode, we had just finished clearing out the Boston Preparatory School, and I don't know if that is going to be enough to unlock Bunker Hill as a settlement and get that caravan way station that I'm really hoping for as a reward. So let's talk to Kessler just after I remember to put on my smarty pants and my smarty hat to get just a little bit of extra experience points. Kessler? Yeah, it was pretty bad. Well, I was glad to help.
Well. I'm happy you're on our side.
So, we just gonna kind of smile at each other, or is there more dialogue here?
Roads are a lot safer. Heard you got land of your own. Tell you what, build a safe place for the caravans to stop, and everyone can profit.
Excellent.
But either way, you're welcome back to the hill anytime.
That is great news. We now have the ability to build our caravan way station, but does that also mean that Bunker Hill is an allied settlement? Let's find out. No. So we still have to do some stuff around here yet. But I am sick, so we might as well get cured.
Hurting all over, Doc.
Hurting all over isn't really it. I have got, I think it was lethargy.
That's gonna need to be set back.
Okay. She doesn't look very good doctor to me. Looks more like a drug addict, but hey, we tried drug addict doctor way back when, and that turned out to completely mess up Mary's face. Mama Murphy was not a very good doctor, so I guess all in all, all's well that ends well. Let's see. Now, if Kessler is around, I guess I'd like to see if maybe she has one more quest for me to unlock Bunker Hill, because this really is a pretty cool settlement. I did a build here when I was doing builds for Fallout 4, and although it's not my best, I will try to remember to leave a link at the end of the video and the end card.
Hey there. Raiders will think twice about the double cross after what
Well,
you did in prep school.
She doesn't want to give me any more quests.
Hi, I'm Meg. Me new to the hill. For 10 caps,
Do we maybe have to do this
Nobody knows a
tour?
place like me.
Any chance I can get it for free?
What? Even I can afford 10.
Okay, fine.
I'll take the tour.
Caps up front. Thank you. The market's in the back, bars in the corner, and the outhouse is over the wall. Bye.
Shut up, Meg.
Got a problem?
Well, it looks like
Hey, you
we are not going to get
a little bit of everything from
Bunker
all
Hill
over.
on side. At least not right now.
Anything
Is
new
there
in the
anything
store?
new going
Same
on?
old, same old. Not interested.
Well,
We'll be
what
back.
if we talk to Old Man Stockton? Could we maybe
travel throughout the
get something from him? He's just given me stock Wastelands before.
Anything from Good Neighbor or Diamond City? Odds are it's been delivered by mine.
Well, doggone. Looks like we're not going to be able to get Bunker Hill unlocked. At least not right now. I don't remember what else it's going to take. However, there is some good news right now. We have gotten ourselves up to level 40, and that means that the perks that I was banking for 39 of Armorer 4 and Gun Nut 4 are now available to me. And although there's not really a immediate reason to take Gun Nut 4, I am glad to have it in hand, and it will come in handy, I'm sure, at some point later. And it also looks like we can take the last rank of Sneak, which is great. I think that what we'll start working on next is getting ourselves to be able to take the Sniper and Penetrator perks. There's nothing else that immediately jumps out at me as something that I want, except for possibly maybe Bloody Mess. I mean, when you get to plus 15%, that's not nothing, but it is 3 perks. And I'd like better criticals, but I have to invest in some luck to get there. So for now, we can worry about leaving that decision to the future. I had hoped to get Bunker Hill unlocked because I wanted to just go right ahead and take a look at some armor that I bought last episode, but since that is not going to be possible, let's go take a little jog over to Hangman's Alley. Now, there are often enemies on this bridge, but it looks like it's clear for today. One other thing that happened right after the end of last episode, immediately after I walked outside, Hancock notified me that I had reached the max level of affinity with him, and I have unlocked his perk of Isodoped. And although I am hoping to not be in a place where my rads are 250, I mean, heck, my hit points are only 300. It is a thing. That's all I can say about it, really. I've been saying all along that without magazines and bobbleheads, the companion perks have some extra value to them because they just represent little bonuses that we can get along the way, just like with those collectibles. But since we can't get collectibles, we are trying to collect companion perks. And now that I think about it, I should not head directly to Hangman's Alley. Instead, I should actually be headed for the combat zone, because last episode we got Cait unlocked, and I left her there at the combat zone because I wasn't quite ready to... Okay, so discovering new buildings means that I am covering ground that I have not covered before. I thought I was actually running through a part of downtown that I had already gotten clear, so we're just going to be a little bit cautious. It's going to be okay, and once we're at Boston Common, we've got Boston Common pretty much clear. So that was not Boston Common, though. That was Cabot House. Boy, I am lost. Alright, we made it to Boston Common, and I am sure that there are some of you out there who are experts at this game that were yelling at your screen that I was going the wrong way, but all's well that ends well. We've made our way to our actual destination, which is the combat zone. We come back here because we want to go ahead and pick up Cait, since we found that tradecraft is locked out to us. Cait and Strong are some of the last companions that we have to unlock, other than Nick Valentine. And that is a discussion for another time. At any rate, we are going to take the armor off of Hancock here because Cait's going to need that. So you can have your coat and hat back, Hancock. You look very snazzy in it.
Cait.
Before I die from being over encumbered, let's go ahead and get Cait to come with us. How are you feeling, by the way?
How are you feeling?
I dunno. Feeling kinda useless sitting here with me thumb up me arse. So, are you ready to get this show on the road?
Well, I suppose we went from one drug addict in the form of Hancock
About
to
time I got out of this
another,
place.
but
Let's go.
Seems I'm gonna be missing out on all the
Hancock ended up being a very close friend. We very much enjoyed his company and his view on personal freedom. Cait, we'll just have to see how this goes. But in the meantime, Cait, I do have
And here I thought
some
you wanted
armor
to
for you.
snuggle.
So let's get you into your new stuff. So we've got these lightweight legs and a backpack and some sunglasses and a helmet. And Cait doesn't really need the bandana. And we've got anything else that we want to... Yep, we want to get rid of this ultralight stuff. And I think that about covers it. Got a right arm, a left arm, a left leg, and a right leg. And okay, good, her outfit is under armor. And we have a chest and some glasses and a helmet. And, oh yeah, a backpack. So, Cait looks snazzy in her armor, and we can now make our way over to Hangman's Alley to work on fixing up our own new armor. Well, it turns out that I was overconfident in my ability to get back to Hangman's Alley. It turns out that these raiders outside of Backstreet Apparel are respawning at an alarming rate. I had cleaned them out again on my last trip through this area and did not expect them to have already spawned. And so yeah, I was caught flat-footed and I got killed. That's okay. It gave me an opportunity to replay that scene with Kessler over at Bunkler Hill and try and press her a little bit harder as far as joining the Minutemen, and she was just completely uninterested. I am starting to wonder if maybe we cannot get that particular settlement unlocked until after the Battle of Bunker Hill quest. Still, we now have a new trader way station that we can build, and I would like to build it, well, frankly, outside over here in the expanded area that we have through the Draco Invictus mod, but this Brahmin is just being a real booger. So instead, we are going to run all the way outside and go around the corner instead and kind of hope that there's no violence at Chaos Junction over there and set up our way station over here. Why are we not allowed to build this thing? Okay, we can... Maybe it had to do with having been outside the borders. I do have my timer turned off, but yeah, let's just see. I saw it flash green for a second, like there's some kind of ground around here that it likes. That will do it, and now we can just use place anywhere to kind of push it back against the wall. And traders can, oops, actually, let's not push it back quite so far. Traders can come through here and be welcome. Awesome. And we also have some crops to pick. I'll do that off camera. And some new armor to take a look at. Because I bought this chest piece and this new shin guard last episode. And although I'm giving up perception and agility on my chest piece, I am gaining strength and endurance, so that's not all bad. And I feel like my sneak is high enough that maybe I don't need the shadowed. Yeah, I'm still going to take shadowed though, because really, no matter how good my armor is, my hit points are just always going to be low enough, especially on survival, that it is going to be, yeah, just not the best. Oh, because I had to load a save, I did not remember to unlock those perks that I unlocked at the beginning of the episode again. So let's do that now before I forget. And since we are thirsty, let's go ahead and have a little drink in our water fountain and get back to trying to figure out what to do with this chest piece. As far as biocom mesh is interesting, but I've not really taken a lot of chems, and I'm deep pocketed is nice, but carry capacity is not my biggest problem. I've been immune to being set on fire for a long time, but I don't know if it's actually doing me any good or not. I think that I'm going to try the ultralight build and see how that does with my AP. Especially because I am giving up some agility with the retiring of the Wastelander chest piece. The shin guard, on the other hand, is already shadowed, so the only thing we have to do here is figure out what we would like, and it's already an increased movement speed, and what do I have on my leg now? Muffled. Well, if we're going to try and say that sneak is the most important thing we can do, then I guess muffled it is. So let's take a look at our stats before and after. We've got 300 health as our max, and 165 on our action points. And 73, 74, and 15. With our new pieces, 93, 85, and 15, so those are significant improvements. No change to our hit points. Our action points go down by 10. But we are supposed to be getting increased regen speed on our action points, and yeah, I think I can see it. I think those are going up pretty fast. Still, it is time to retire our current pieces, and I don't think the legendary effects are going to do our companion any good, so we are going to put these on the armor rack. And so that means the Wastelander's chest piece and the Destroyer right leg. Let's check our stats on that. So 11 and 11. And the Black Ops, because it is sturdy, is 15 and 15. So it was worth some money. I don't know if it was worth as much money as we spent, but it was worth something. Still 2 more pieces of armor retired. And I am not exactly sure what I'm going to do next, so I'll pick crops and think about it. So it turns out that it was a good thing that I decided to do a round of all my settlements, because I had forgotten and left my recruitment beacon on in a few places, and some of the populations were getting kind of out of control. So I have had to spend quite a bit of steel improving those places in the form of adding more turrets and adding more beds and adding more housing and adding scavenging stations on the settlements that I don't visit very often. I keep hoping that those scavenging stations will pay off, but I haven't really been able to tell that they have. And we are getting really low on steel. We're down to about 250, which is kind of nerve-wracking, but we are not to the point where we're buying shipments yet. However, there's a couple of things that we can do while we're here in Sanctuary. And the first is that I noticed that Cait is carrying a baseball bat. And although I don't typically mess with my companion's weapons, I figure that's their property, I don't figure Cait will mind if we upgrade this a little bit. So I don't have the Rake 2 of Blacksmith. I've got a bladed baseball bat myself, but I had to buy that mod, and no one around to buy that from right now. But we could go ahead and get this up to chain wrapped for only 1 adhesive, and wow, we're down to 150 steel. That's pretty bad. You can rip through 150 steel in the blink of an eye. And we can go ahead and make it aluminum. Oh, we need to start buying aluminum too at every opportunity. So, yeah. Cait has a better baseball bat. Here, Cait, where'd you go? Let me give this back to you. Here you go.
I'm on it.
And we won't actually tell her to equip it. She can choose to equip it as she sees fit. For myself, the other goodie that I can mess with here is my under armor, because I forgot that with my new rank of armor that I can go from 10 and 15 on energy and rad resist to 15 and 20. And looks like we're running a little low on leather too. So we got aluminum and leather to be buying at kind of every opportunity. Note to self for later. The other thing that we can do while we're here in I almost said Hangman's Alley, in Sanctuary is, we still have not paid Mama Murphy back for what she did to Mary's face. So far, nothing has worked. I mean, we tried high-speed drug delivery right to the face with a pitching machine. That didn't work out. We tried shooting her out of a junk mortar. she flew an awfully long ways and just kind of stood up and moped her way over to a house and started banging on the house. So, if these more direct methods are not working, maybe we can try some sleep deprivation. I built Mama Murphy this nice, shady shack. She doesn't have to sit out in the sun anymore. Aren't I a nice guy? But once we go ahead and get everything turned on in here, I think that Mama Murphy is probably never going to sleep again. Because she never gets out of her chair. We've got the saw blade trap going. We've got the quitting time siren over here making noise. And we've got flashing lights in her face. No way is she ever going to manage to get even a lick of sleep in here. And you may or may not have noticed there's no button on the inside of that room to get out. She's locked in there until I say she comes out. I even did windows in the walls so that we can observe all the action on the outside. So yeah, enjoy your new home, Mama Murphy. Enjoy it to death. And just in case some settler has a bright idea that he's going to let her out, I'm going to disconnect that wire so that they just can't let her out. We will leave Mama Murphy there for the next few days or weeks, however long it takes us to come around to getting back to Hangman's Alley. Hangman's Alley, I said it again. However long it takes us to get back to Sanctuary here and see if she is ready to say that she's sorry for messing up Mary's face. You join me in time for a little bit of good fortune, because just to the southwest of Drumlin Diner, along the road that takes you towards Grey Garden, there is a house here that is a random encounter location. And the great news was that I found Ron Staples entertaining all of these Wastelanders here. The bad news is that I forgot to hit record when I got to interact with him. Still, he has agreed to run my bar at Hangman's Alley and has wandered off in that direction. And so we're going to have access to another level 4 vendor in Hangman's Alley, which is great. The other piece of news that I think is really encouraging that came out of that encounter was that I have encountered Ron Staples before, and my fear was that those encounters were a one-time thing. And if you were ready and you had a shop in your settlement that you could hire that particular vendor, then great. And if not, I was afraid that maybe that vendor was lost forever. Turns out that's not true, and that's great because I have run into the scribe as well, who frankly is more important than Ron Staples as far as some of the legendary weapons and armor that can spawn in his shop. And I've also run into Smiling Larry. And although I don't have a weapons shop yet, that is certainly on my radar of a thing that I would like to get done. And so that means that we are going to have a chance to recruit those other folks again later. Still have not quite completed my round, but I am on my way back towards Hangman's Alley, and we'll figure out what to do next after we kind of drop things off there. So what do you know, Ron Staples has indeed showed up here at Hangman's Alley, and I've gone ahead and already assigned him to be my bartender. Also, more good news. we have 1,000 bottle caps in the workbench here, and although I cannot take them out of the workbench, when you go to build a new store, what do you know, but the bottle caps come from the workbench first before they come from your inventory.
Hey, at least it's honest work.
Other happy news, I was going to come out here and say, hey, look, Trash Can Carlos showed up, but not only has Trash Can Carlos showed up, but Lucas Miller has showed up too.
Lucas.
I think we've probably progressed beyond what he has to offer for legendary armor, but let's just take a look at his inventory since he's here and see what he's got. Leather armor that disarms attacker. I would have liked the agility and perception boost much earlier, but couldn't afford 11,000 caps earlier in the game. I just don't understand why that particular piece of armor is so incredibly expensive. Like, it's nice enough, but 11,000 caps? I don't know. Seems a bit pricey. Super Mutants is just too situational. I would rather keep the legs that I have. Other things that we have here. I'd like a red dress just for roleplay purposes, but I am looking around quite a bit of things that you don't necessarily have to have. Is there anything else that immediately jumps out at me in here? No, there is not. Still, I am glad to see these other caravanners starting to come through my settlement here. That is great. I was talking about having 1,000 bottle caps, and that is great because my strategy of letting the first 3 stores finance the last 3 stores is kind of paying off, because the clothing emporium, the level 3 clothing store, only costs 1,000 bottle caps, which means none of that just came out of our inventory. Meanwhile, my old bartender still has a very snazzy hat, which might make him more suited towards being a clothing vendor instead. Let's take a look at his inventory and see if anything jumps out at us as just the thing that we can't live without.
You looking for something to wear?
I sure
Let's see what you
am.
have.
What do you got? He's got a Tato, a few 38 rounds, and some clothes. What do we got for clothes? Really, nothing that is speaking to me and saying that yes, I must have that. I have been on the lookout for a long time for a combat helmet. I would like to move past my metal helmet and into a combat helmet, but so far, no luck on that front. Maybe if we get the scribe to take over our armor vendor, we will eventually find ourselves a combat helmet. Still, that means that the only thing that we have left is the weapon vendor, and that is the most expensive. It does cost 3,000, but because we have the others already set up, we shouldn't have to wait long to get that 3,000. The long loop that I made through my settlements has mostly replenished the 7,000 caps that I spent last episode for some new armor, and we are... Where's the stats here? Here we go. We have now harvested almost 15,200 plants. We're doing it. It's taken a long time, but we are doing it. We are playing the game without doing any looting. Now, I suppose if we had not made that exception for plants, there's an argument that is still kind of a form of looting, but to be honest, I think without being able to harvest crops, the game would have been simply unplayable. At a minimum, I don't think that it could be played on survival mode. If you have nothing to loot and only the starting gear of like your wedding ring to sell, I just don't see how, with the barter being as brutal as it is, how you could ever get to a point where you could move into actually playing the game. Certainly not before you starve to death. Anyway, one last thing that I want to cover while we're here at home in Hangman's Alley is that I have finally acquired 20 boxes of Captain Cosmos toys, and I happen to know that there is a machine that we can redeem these at just outside of Hubris Comics. So next stop, Hubris Comics. Let's see whether I've been wasting my time on getting those Captain Cosmos toy boxes. Well, here we are outside of Hubris Comics, and I am somewhat tempted to poke my nose inside. There is a quest to get the Silver Shroud costume, but I've also said that even if my companions will loot things for me and essentially loot by proxy, I'm not going to do it unless there's no other choice on a main quest. So we're just going to let the ghouls that are living inside of Hubris Comics live their lives in peace. Now, I actually tried to record this once before, and I've been having a lot of trouble with my capture card lately. The footage was corrupted, but it's kind of okay. Like, really coming in here and clicking the Captain Cosmos Cosmic Cannon is not all that more exciting when the screen says, here's your Cosmic Cannon versus you don't have enough toy boxes. So we did get this thing, and I am not immediately impressed. It does have kind of a nice fire rate, but I don't really go for automatic weapons. In fact, I'm not even sure if this is an automatic weapon or not. But because of the cost for ammo, I just don't prefer automatic weapons. So we will take it back to Hangman's Alley, see if there's anything we can do with it at a weapons workbench, and see if we wasted our time with getting those 20 boxes or not. I am also still curious about the spacesuit here for 20 boxes, and when I get to a point where I do have a power armor frame, since I could buy those, I've kind of debated it, but I think that once I do have power armor, that it's okay. As long as I didn't steal it from anywhere, that's alright, because we're not putting power armor in our inventory when we put it on. We are putting on armor. So that's not, to me, that's not a violation of my rules. I'm curious if anybody else has an opinion on that. One other thing to mention, Cait here has now twice had a conversation with me. Yeah, our affinity with Cait is going up really fast, and I think it'll be no time before we get her quest unlocked. Her second conversation deals with her parents were abusive. They treated her like garbage, and then on her 18th birthday, they sold her into slavery to raiders, and that conversation makes my skin crawl, not so much because of what she says, but because of what she leaves out. as terrible as Mary's life has been, and as awful as the experience was with an abusive husband, I guess it just doesn't even compare with what happened to Cait. Now, nobody wins in the Victim Olympics, but you have to have a great swell of sympathy for Cait in her situation. But I had not actually thought that I would talk quite this long, but here we are. We're almost at Hangman's Alley, so rather than cut and edit another break into the video, I'm just going to sprint over here to my weapons workbench and see if we can do anything with this cosmic cannon rifle. And with a point of science, we could increase the damage on this thing a lot. Even without an investment of science, we can get ourselves up to 63, although it would still be an automatic rifle. But 63 damage a shot with a 90 fire rate is not bad. It's just I can't afford the ammo. Is there a way to turn this into a single shot? Sonic Pulse Barrel fires an energy wave that pushes back enemies. Fire rate is 16, and we gain a bunch of ballistics damage and actually gain a little bit of energy damage too. This is intriguing. Let's go ahead and put this mod on. Let's make sure I'm not almost out of any of this stuff. And yeah.
Not bad, right about it.
And let's look at the stock here. We've got no difference between the wood stock and the plastic stock, so we might as well just keep it. And those are, see, exceptional sighted accuracy, better recoil. Yeah, this is what we want for our character, who's mostly a sniper. Looks like the only sight available is a reflex sight, so we'll go ahead and put that on. And I don't care about paint jobs. What do we got if we, what would we have here if we put our overcharge capacitor on? 2579. I'm not immediately excited, especially because when I compare this to, say, the Old Faithful. The Old Faithful does about the same amount of damage, has a faster fire rate, and let's see, 8.1. Where is this? And this. So at least this weighs a little bit less. Still, the pushback effect sounds really interesting. So I am going to go ahead and apply that, and we will try this out the next time we are in the field. Actually, I already applied the pushback, but let's put the strongest capacitor on that we can. Let's see. So, improved damage, reduced ammo, superior critical shot, better accuracy. Maximized. Sorry, I just I'm trying to evaluate these things on the fly, and honestly, this gets us the most damage. It weighs a tiny bit more, and the accuracy is the same. The range is the same. Like, why would we do anything other than this unless we had Science 3? And even Science 3 is not a huge difference. We're talking 9 extra energy damage. So let's apply this, and yeah, the next time we have a chance to try this out in the field, we'll try out this pushback effect maybe on some swarm enemies like ghouls. Now, we have not made very much progress towards the Museum of Witchcraft in Salem, which was our stated goal last time. But we did have a lot of kind of maintenance to do, especially after doing those quests for Bunker Hill. Which reminds me, I did look it up. I have to wait until after the Battle of Bunker Hill before I can get that place to join me. So, what are we going to do next? I think that we are going to continue to push on towards the Museum of Witchcraft. Hopefully we can either get there today or at least make some more significant progress. Well, it would appear that the game is conspiring to keep me from following through with my plans, because this is in no way where I want it to be. I got a notification that Grey Garden was under attack mere seconds after I stopped recording the last segment, so I went to deal with that. And then, as soon as I started picking crops on my way back through Overland Station here, which, by the way, is now up to 114 food. So, yeah, every time we come through, if crops have populated, we stop and pick, because it's just too many caps to pass up. But yeah, Cait immediately pulled us aside and said, "Hey, do you have a minute to talk?" And I have a feeling that she is going to give us her companion quest. So what are you looking for, Cait?
I was hoping you'd say that. We're friends now, which means I can trust you with anything. I'm also.
I mean, it happened awfully fast, Cait. We haven't even really done a quest together yet.
I'm sick, and I don't think I can hide it from you anymore.
Clearly, this is a woman on the edge. Let me put on my charisma gear. I didn't think that there would be a speech check with this conversation, but since there is, let's go ahead and make sure that we've got our charisma up to 10.
Hey.
All right, Cait.
Hey.
You have to do those first couple lines again, but at least we've got our charisma gear on. Anything you need.
You'd say that. We're friends now, which means I can trust you with anything. I'm also hoping it means you've got me back, because I need it now more than ever. I'm sick, and I don't think I can hide it from you anymore.
I mean, every time I turn around, I see you, injecting Psycho or something.
Okay.
But take a deep breath and tell me what's going on.
If you're sick, I want to help you.
Okay. It's like this. Ever since I left home, I've been using Psycho. I don't know why I'm still taking that crap, but I can't stop. And believe me, I've tried. I can't even go a day without it anymore, and I'm fucking sick and tired of it. I've even been doing it behind your back. Sneaking doses when I think you aren't looking. Worst of all...
Yeah, I've seen you, Cait.
I've been spitting blood and I don't feel right inside. I need to get this shite out of me system before I wind up dead.
Well, I've got a dose of Addictol. Would that help?
Can your psycho addiction be cured?
Normally a Wasteland doc could handle it, but I've been using the stuff so damn long they can't help me anymore. There's only one other way I know, but it's not gonna be easy. There's supposed to be a vault somewhere out here. A place called Vault 95. I've heard that Vault Tech used it for some kind of social experiment. Stuck a bunch of junkies inside to poke and prod. Well, they supposedly had some...
Vault 95 is one of the more messed up vaults.
Some kind of a machine or something.
And that's saying
We can
something.
get inside. Maybe that machine could help me.
Any idea where this Vault 95 is?
Not really, no. All I know is it's supposed to be somewhere in the southwestern part of the
But that's the
Commonwealth.
opposite direction of
I
the
don't
Museum
want
of
you to think I'm
Witchcraft.
some kind of low-life junkie. Stupid girl who's
But
harming herself for no good reason. From one friend
Mary
to another,
has got a soft
I'm asking
spot
for your
for
help. When
need
you're
help,
ready,
and
take me out to Vault 95 and help me put an end to me.
we don't have a choice. We are going to have to do this. So, not what I wanted to do right now, but that's what's going to be happening. So, let's put our regular armor back on so that we're not over encumbered anymore. And yeah, clearly I was not planning on coming out and doing stuff and picking crops because I've got the ammo modifier on my backpack. Normally I'd put the extra bags modifier on. So yeah, I wonder if we're going to even get a quest marker for this because we really don't know where Vault 95 is. But since we're messing with quest markers, let's go ahead and turn the Museum of Witchcraft off because we're apparently never going to get there. And let's see, we do have a quest marker. Somehow Mary knows where Vault 95 is. Maybe she heard about it on the news or something before the war. Nevertheless, we have a long journey to the south ahead of us. So we might as well finish picking crops here, go back to Hangman's Alley, and yeah, Hangman's Alley is as far south as we've gotten with settlements. So we are not going to have any friendly way stations on the way. The best that I can hope for is, I think Egret Tours Marina is kind of near this bridge. Maybe we can get that claimed to at least have a way station on the way there. We'll find out. I will join you when when the next thing happens that tries to pull me off in another direction. Welcome back. We have made it as far as Egret Tours Marina. When you first get here, this place is just covered in landmines. I had kind of forgotten about that. Fortunately, we were able to shoot those with our 10mm pistol and get rid of them without actually picking them up. I want to go ahead and try and get this place unlocked because I am going to need an outpost here in the south. Not only are there a number of quests that I have bypassed so far because I don't have any place on the south side of the map, but also I want something at least a little bit closer to Vault 95 as far as a place to drop a save before we attempt Cait's quest. So let's open this door and oh, what a surprise. We have someone here who's pointing a gun at us. That's not very friendly, Phyllis.
I don't know who you are, but you better clear out before I go haywire and blast you.
Well, I'm Mary, and there's no need for you to be going haywire.
Oh, haywire. What do you mean?
It means I'm a synth, you numbskull. And if you don't take off, I'm liable to put a hole in your head.
Well, you're the first person that I've met who knows they're a synth. I think maybe we should calm down just a little bit, though.
Tell me what's going on.
They've got something they use
Mary,
to control us.
I have told you before, blackface is inappropriate.
Any second now.
Ugh.
Uh,
It's a glitch, I know, and it happens when you load a game without actually exiting the game.
Are you gonna get out of here, or wait for them to?
It annoys me, and the best I can do is kind of make fun of it and say that Mary is being very inappropriate by wearing blackface. So, I don't know. I hope nobody finds that offensive, but it is, like I said, inappropriate for her to be doing that. So, I am not leaving.
I'm good and ready. Now stay out of my way.
Get the hell out of here, you arrogant little shit.
Wow, a failure. Holy smokes. I hope we can kill Phyllis before,
I was just getting
Well, that was unfortunate. Phyllis, I am so sorry. I did not want to shoot you. I am just so used to being able to pass those hard speech checks, but lady, you brought it on yourself. You shot first. Doggone. Well, I had actually hoped to turn her into a provisioner because I'm kind of doubtful that we're going to have everything we need as far as supplies in this place, but that is clearly not going to happen. So instead, let's see, where can we go? We can go over here. I think that since it can take a while for the bodies to despawn, and I don't want to accidentally pick anything up while I'm getting this settlement set up, we are just going to have to bring Phyllis out here and bury her at sea. She has a very sad story, and this is a sad end to a sad life. Goodbye, Phyllis. I wish that you had been able to maybe just be a little bit more calm. We could have been friends. Still, I think that that is enough for this episode. I'm going to call it apart here. And certainly we did not make any progress towards the Museum of Witchcraft. We have, in fact, gone a fair whack in the opposite direction, but we are getting ready to unlock Cait's companion perk, and I'll take all the companion perks I can get. If you'd like to see me attempt that during the next episode, be sure to subscribe. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like. If you didn't like, please tell me why in a comment so I can do better for you next time. Constructive criticism is the best way that I know to grow as a YouTuber, and dislikes without context don't tell me what I could or should be working on. Until next time, my name is Nacho Bidness, and I'm saying it's a great big wasteland out there. Let's go have fun in it.